Oh, hey, word on the street is you need a super portable, very premium, brand new 2026 laptop that has all the fixins, allows you to get absurd multi-day battery life, excellent performance, and have all the cool, awesome premium features that I want to see on a laptop. Well, this is potentially one for you. This is the brand new Lenovo Yoga Slim 7X. X stands for the Snapdragon. This is a Qualcomm Snapdragon laptop. It has the brand new X2 series, and this one has the big boy. It has the X2 Elite, the 88 model. So really, really nice. So brand new chip from Qualcomm, the Snapdragon. We already know what Snapdragon can do. It offers good CPU performance, good GPU performance, good AI performance, and crazy best-in-class battery life. Well, this year, you still get that crazy multi-day all-day battery life, but you get a much more powerful CPU and a much more powerful GPU with very, very high TOPS for NPU. So if you're doing AI type stuff, basically they're taking everything and making it better.
All right, so let's have a quick look here at the PSREF documents to see what different variants we can get. So for the actual processor, we can get the X2 Plus or Elite processors. We can see here, we have the 3 Elites, at least on the PSREF document. We have the lower core count one, 6 cores. Honestly, it'll be just fine for, I'm going to say daily use, but pretty accelerated daily use, to be honest, especially with the efficiency. You can get the 80 right here, the X2E80. That gives you a 12-core processor. That's where we're starting to get into some serious workflow there. And then today we have the 18 core. So that's a real big boy there. 18 core is pretty impressive. These are 4.7 gigahertz. Very good. Huge cache as well. Like that's just actually massive. And all of them are going to be doing 80 TOPS. So if you're doing some AI, local AI stuff, like basically, Copilot, Windows type stuff to really accelerate your professional style work, all of them are going to be capable. So then popping onto the actual builder over here for Lenovo, we do have access to these Plus. You can see them popping up here, the Plus models. So again, if you're just doing day-to-day type work, you're going to have no problems using the Plus. If you move over here, you have access to the Elite models. Now the RAM is soldered on them, so it looks like the Plus you get 16 gigabytes. Again, totally fine for day-to-day stuff. When you get into the Elite models, that's when you start to get into 32 gigabytes of memory. So it's going to be basically pushing a little bit further. Now there are 4 screen options here. We have 2 of them that come in at 1200p, so 1200p, 1200p. Touch and non-touch is the difference. They are both going to be OLED. There's also glossy and anti-fingerprint. If you're going to be touching the glass, having that anti-fingerprint is nice, and it does actually resist fingerprints pretty well. Both of them are going to be 100% DCI-P3, very high color space, and 60 hertz. So these ones are going to be really nice screens, and especially a little bit more geared towards people who are just really trying to max that battery. 60 hertz refresh, 1200p is really going to help with the battery. Moving down here, we have 2 more screens, both 1800p, and so that's extremely fine resolution, and they're both in the same type of scenario where we have touchscreen and non-touchscreen, and they're a little bit brighter as well. So here we get into 500 nits and SDR, and so it's going to be pretty bright. That's pretty standard for pretty much as bright as you can get for a non-tandem OLED. Very good. Of course, we get those amazing blacks as well. They also have an sRGB and an Adobe RGB rating as well, and 120 hertz max. I'll say this at one point in the video. The Snapdragon laptops are actually offering really good value in a market that's really tough right now, and you're able to get not only really good value, but you're able to get really good performance, premium, and really good value. Okay, now here is a look at the laptop. Just gonna get out my scale here because this is a very thin and very portable laptop. I'm gonna have to show you, but quick look at it here. Very, very, very sleek laptop. Just close it up. It's got that nice blue. It doesn't show up too well on camera. That's weird. Maybe it will, and I'm just not seeing it through the screen. But it has a really nice kind of deep blue to it. It almost looks grayish like that, but yeah, there you can see it like that. That's weird. It's just the angle. Nice, lovely blue. Bottom, same idea. And it's a metal laptop, metal top, metal bottom, etc. Inside, obviously, it's going to be incredibly clean. Haven't wiped the inside yet, but you can see, despite the fact that I've been using this for hours and hours and hours, it's not really that bad for fingerprints. And then of course, you can give it a quick wipe. I've been doing this more and more because I'm an anti-fingerprint guy, and when a laptop has has a resistance to fingerprints, I like to show it off. Very nice. So it has that nice lovely blue. I really like this color quite a bit. I lean towards this rather than like a matte black type thing. Silver is obviously really nice, but I'd take this nice kind of blue over that even, to be honest. It's just gives a little pop to it. Very nice. Very premium inside design, like slimmer bezels, traditional yoga. I mean, it's a Lenovo yoga, right? Now, one thing about this yoga is, I mean, the name, where are we? It's on here somewhere. Slim, there it is. Slim 7X. It's very thin. This is an incredibly thin laptop. It will not show up on camera. It never does. Like, everything always looks massive on camera, unfortunately, the way that it is. But this is a tiny, tiny little camera. Let me get like a pen. This is just your standard Bic pen. Look at that. It's like not much thicker than a pen. It's so thin. When I first picked it up and I took it out of the box, because I've messed around with a lot of Lenovo Yogas over the years, I was like, man, this has to be the thinnest one. Like, for sure, it has to be. It's so incredibly thin. Now, port selection on this laptop is not going to be the same as, like say a ThinkPad or something, a big ThinkPad. It's just physically the laptop is so thin. You do get two USB-C on the left here. One's going to be used for charging, and then you can use the other one for data and that kind of stuff. Really good. Physically, I mean, the laptop is physically so thin. Like, you couldn't put, you could change the shape of the laptop, make it thicker, and then put on like a USB-A, HDMI, that kind of stuff. But there's literally nowhere to put it. Like, that is almost the exact thickness as USB-C. There's just enough metal to keep the port structured. So it's a very thin laptop. So there's not a lot of place to put ports. Despite that, they did manage to put 3 of them on here. So 2 on the left side, 1 on the right here. This one does have the battery symbol there. It's basically, you can charge phones and that kind of stuff and have always on battery. Camera kill switch there, and then the power button here. And I've noticed that this year they recessed them down slightly so that you don't pick up the laptop and accidentally press it. You have to actually like put your thumb on it and then press it. I think it was last year. These tended to stick out slightly and you could accidentally just bump them. You can change in Windows, so it doesn't matter, but on this model here, it's recessed down. So it's, you have to actually intentionally press that there. So nice and sleek there. So despite the fact that it's a super thin laptop, you still end up with 3 ports. And I mean, having access to Thunderbolt ports means you can run, docks and that kind of stuff anyways. Add more ports, USB-A, all that kind of stuff, little dongles, no problem there whatsoever. Inside, we'll get into the keyboard and trackpad later, but we have a nice large trackpad here. We do get this kind of rubberized texture on here. A lot of the Yogas now have it. Sometimes they have a metallic type thing. This one has a rubberized type interior. Very, very smooth to touch. We'll get into that. I don't want to spoil too much of the keyboard type stuff, but very, very, very sleek design. So this is going to be an incredibly aesthetic laptop. 1,259 grams. Very light. Now, it is metal, right? So it's not going to be as light as some like cheapo plastic thing. And that's fine, and I'm happy with that. Like, I don't want it to be like a cheap plastic flimsy thing. This is meant to be very premium, so it has some weight to it because of that metal. Because the Snapdragon stuff is so efficient too, you can see that it doesn't have like a massive charger. It is 65 watts, but it's a nice little charger, and it doesn't add much weight. Right? Looking at a little over 3 pounds for everything, and again, metal laptop. Right? This is not some tiny little laptop. This is not some little plastic thing. It's meant to be both very thin, very portable, but because it's metal and robust inside, it gives it a little bit more weight, which makes it feel nice in the hand as well.
Let's do the wheeled or unwheeled test here. So let me just show you this laptop here in terms of like, I'm showing you my hands, but I just want to show you this thing. This thing is crazy portable. It is crazy portable. It is so thin. It's like paper thin. Do I have anything paper? Here's an iPad. Let me bring up this iPad. This is an iPad mini. It's a small laptop, or small tablet. This is like tablet level. So as a result, despite the fact that, we're getting into something that's obviously bigger than an iPad in terms of like the size here, it feels like that. It feels like I'm holding like a tablet when it's like this. It's a super, super compact, tight, robust package where it feels nice and firm, feels nice and not creaky or anything like that. It feels nice in the hand. Just feels like a nice laptop. This is the type thing that potentially you're at school, like you're in class, university, whatever, high school, whatever. You're in a business meeting, in a business environment, moving around, whatever your professional work is. You do photography, whatever it is. You're moving around. You take this. You store in a little messenger bag, you take it out potentially, and you move around in your office, you're moving around between classes. This is a little tiny thing that feels nice to, like, maybe don't throw your stuff around, but it feels nice to move around like that, right? This is the type of thing you can literally just hold in your hand.
Getting into these laptops is actually really easy. You could go through the edges and that kind of stuff, but because these have the speaker grill here, where there's like a slot kind of thing, you can actually just put this in here and just give it a quick twist like that, and it raises it up with your little like pick thing here. And then, you know, you can just go through, go around, whatever. So that's typically what I do on these ones. Go like that, and you can just follow it along like that. Like so. Do the same thing over here. I always recommend not pulling. You always want to do twisting because you don't know, what you're pulling on. So if you go with like a twisting motion, put that in there, and rather than reefing up on it, you just give it a quick twist like that. You can see it releases it in a much shorter kind of range there. So anyways, so pop that open there. Inside there, this is metal. Very thin metal, but it's got some structure in there. And the whole laptop, as we've already seen, is robust in general. It's got good structure to it, so that's nice. That's to protect the battery. It smells good inside. Ah, it's got an intoxicating, brand new electronic smell. Yeah, very, very nice. Anyway, so inside here, this is an incredibly thin laptop. So, you know, they're not going to have room for quad, NVMe, and all that kind of stuff. This thing is packed to the brim, though, with what's inside. So, speakers here, we get the speaker line up here. You'll see the audio here, but yogas in general, especially the premium yogas, generally have good audio. So they're not going to skimp out on that, but they're up firing, so we can't see the things, but they fire that direction. That's good. A little bit of structure here. The battery here is quite large, 70 watt-hour battery. Huge battery for such a thin laptop, for one thing. And Snapdragon has always been the battery king. Like, this is where it's like, you're getting into, you know, Windows laptop, and it's like, oh, Windows can't compete with Mac in terms of battery. And then it's like, yeah, but if you buy a Snapdragon, it absolutely can. You're getting multi-day battery. And I've proven that many times in my different reviews of the Snapdragon Snapdragon laptops. So getting a large 70 watt-hour battery here with something that truly sips power, you're going to get crazy good battery life. And I'm happy that they didn't shrink this battery down to do anything else in here. Moving on. Cooling system here for Snapdragon is more than adequate. So you get a dual heat pipe here. They're not super thick, but they're also not super thin. Considering the thickness of the laptop, those are reasonably thick heat pipes. And then you get a dual fan setup, which is nice, not a single. Dual fan, very nice. Good diameter for the size of the laptop, put it that way. And very, very, very dense fins here. You can see the fins are very dense. And Lenovo uses this style where they kind of curve it. So it curves up that way, like that, and then it also, they curve on an angle, so you end up with a fan that, I don't know if it necessarily moves more air. I don't know if, like, I'm not an aerodynamic engineer, but I can tell you that acoustically it helps quite a bit. It reduces turbulence and like whirring noises and irritating sounds that come from it. So even if the laptop happens to be reducing noise, like sound, acoustic volume from the fans, it's not annoying. So that's good. Upgradability is going to be not a ton on this laptop. Again, it's a very tight package to be expected. There's nowhere to put anything in here. You do end up with a single NVMe. It is a 2242, luckily, not a 2330. And you can upgrade those 2 terabytes. It's not really the market to upgrade storage right now. Down the road, maybe, perhaps, but I mean, things are really expensive right here. You don't get upgradable RAM or anything like that. Again, RAM's pretty expensive, but that's just how the chip's designed. So really nice clean package inside here. You're not going to be looking at, tons of upgradability on a laptop like that, but that's not the segment this in. This isn't a super premium, ultra thin laptop, but it's tight inside, huge battery, and good cooling. I've already used the laptop for quite some time. I can tell you the cooling is good. So let's seal it up, fire it up. Okay, and here is the laptop fired up. Again, I've been using it for the entire day. I've been messing around with this, just basically playing with it. I got it set up yesterday, but I've been really using it all day today to just kind of do stuff, and you could see all the crap going on, just to kind of see what it was like. And spoiler, it's good. So we'll start with the keyboard here. You guys know how I always start with the keyboard. I'm a keyboard guy. This is the type typed a whole bunch of stuff. Spoiler. This is the type laptop that would really appeal towards people who are going to be doing a lot of typing. Students and professionals who need to take a laptop like this, a thin, tiny little laptop like this, that's going to give them crazy good battery, spoiling the whole damn video, and do a ton of typing. Classrooms, business meetings, take it with you and type. Why am I emphasizing all this? Well, this has my favorite keyboard. If you know me, I have 2 preferential, it's not just like, oh, Lenovo, whatever. I mean, Lenovo has some really nice keyboards, but there are 2 specific ones within the Lenovo lineup that really stand out to me. One, obviously the Legions. Legions have really nice keyboards, thicker, bigger laptops. But number 1 for me, if you know me, is the Yoga. The Yoga has the best keyboard, best in class keyboard. Not best in class keyboard. It has the best laptop keyboard. Best laptop keyboard, straight up. They are, in this model here, they're like a rubberized texture, soft, smooth, velvety rubberized texture. Like if you got into a super expensive luxury car and you touch the dashboard, it has that really, this is kind of nice too, actually. It has that velvety type texture. It's just like that. I call it rubbery because I don't know what other term to use for it, but it's super smooth. It has that nice blue on it, just two-tone, right? You can get yogas with the gray as well. And gray is fantastic as well, but the blue just really stands out to me. It's just such a lovely thing. So that's really nice there. Very standard layout in terms of the keyboard. Good spacing on the keys. Just bring that in there. There's good spacing on the keys. So when I'm typing, I don't accidentally go over on the different keys there. I often use either ThinkBooks or Yogas from Lenovo, and a big part of that is the keyboards just really speak to me. I type a lot, right? When I was in academics, research, all that kind of stuff, I typed hours on hours per day, and having a really nice keyboard is very important. So we'll come in here, give that a quick, oh, by the way, it also has backlight. See that there? Auto, low, high, off. Auto, low, high. Let's put it on high. Anyway, so we'll give it a quick type here. Yeah, I mean, what do you want me to say? It's the best keyboard on the market, right? There are no keyboards that I like more than this. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to anyone who hasn't used it and doesn't understand. I said this anytime I use one of these Lenovo Yogas. I say, go into a Best Buy. They exist, or whatever, wherever you live, whatever country you're in, or region you're in. Go into a local computer shop and test this out. Just trust me. Just type on it. If you're a student or a business person who's going to be doing a lot of typing, go in and try this out. It will not disappoint you. You get tons, despite these being low profile keycaps, you get tons of travel, and it's snappy. Nice and snappy. You got to love it, right? You got to appreciate it. It's a very, very nice keyboard. Best in class. You do have, your profile modes like that. Function Q. Volume up, volume down, that kind of stuff. You can hit function escape to lock that out. So now they work as functions. Go back in there. Now they work as volume up, volume down. So just depending on what, maybe you use a lot of function keys, you can lock that out. Maybe you use the volume up, volume down more. You can lock that out. No numpad, but I don't, 14-inch laptop, it's just not that segment. So everyone's different, but in this segment here, you wouldn't want it. Now, trackpad. Very large, very, very large trackpad, almost the size of the whole laptop palm area. It is glass or acrylic top, so it's very smooth, incredibly smooth. Obviously, going to be nice to the touch there. And the click on it is quite nice. Listen here. I don't know if you picked that up on the microphone, but the click is very consistent across the whole way across. Very light click. It's not loud. It's not super loud, but it feels tactile. So for me, it's a very nice click. I like a clicky trackpad. So that's really nice. Let's keep going. Okay, now screen. There are 4 options for the screen, as we've already seen. This one here has the lower resolution, 1200p. So you can go 1200p or 1600p, 1800p, sorry. Why would you go 1200p? Well, it depends what you want. So if you know me, I like finer resolutions, but at 13 or 14 inches, I'm actually fine with a 1200p screen because the pixel density is still quite high. If you get into a 16-inch screen, that's where I'm like, okay, I need to get into 1600p or 1800p because the pixel density remains actually very similar. As the screen gets bigger, typically you want higher resolution. At a 13 or 14-inch screen, 1200p is okay. One of the advantages of a 1200p screen is it consumes less power to run. It's easier for it to run, especially if it's 60 hertz. So this screen here is a 60 hertz refresh screen at 1200p. So it's going to consume less battery than the 1800p 120 hertz screen. Now it is a touch screen. You can get touchscreen or non-touchscreen. You can get touchscreen or non-touchscreen on this actual variant here. So if you go with a 1200p, you can get non-touch or touch. If you get 1800p, you can go non-touch or touch. I don't use touch much, but I can get why people do it, because you can come in here and you can rip through. It does have anti-fingerprint, help resist fingerprints, just so you know the coating. And you can come in here and you can rip through real fast. And it is faster than doing this. Like, I'm still pretty quick, but like, obviously it's not going to be as fast as being like do. Oop, let's not run that. Something like that. Like, you can rip through real quick, right? So that's nice. And you can see it has resist wobble. These are tight hinges here, so it's not a wobbly screen by any stretch of the imagination. So it feels nice. Okay, now moving on. It's 100% DCI-P3 color space, so colors like red are going to absolutely pop off the screen. You're going to get nice, deep, rich royal reds. If it wasn't 100% DCI-P3, if it was an sRGB, it would be less rich. If it was something like a 45% NTSC screen, you would get much muted colors. Here we don't have that. We have very rich, vibrant red colors here. You'll really notice it in the reds and especially the greens, but the red's the most. A vibrant royal red. It's also an OLED. So obviously OLEDs have a lot of advantages here. You're going to be, if you're consuming content like watching shows, playing games, that kind of stuff, OLEDs are obviously preferred for that kind of stuff because you get very deep blacks, incredibly rich deep blacks, where you're going to be drawn into the image. It's going to feel like more 3D, if that makes sense, more natural. Of course, if you're doing graphic design, content creation as well, having those really rich blacks is also very nice too, because you can see when something is a true black versus like a shade of gray. That's very nice. If you use this in a dark room, especially, you turn off all the lights, an IPS screen will show blooming basically around the edges potentially, but the main thing is you're not going to get that rich black. You'll actually be getting color off of the black. Another advantage of that, just keep going on and on. Another advantage of that is battery. Snapdragon, Qualcomm really do push the battery life on these laptops as being a primary feature. These pixels are off here. These are not on pixels. These are on. Those texts are there on. So the majority of the screen right now is actually off technically. Like, there's power going to the screen, but the pixels are not producing light. That means they're not consuming as much power. So if you use things like dark mode and you have an OLED, you can really reduce the power consumption by the screen. That's one of the biggest draws of laptops is the screen. It's a big giant bright screen will consume power. So by having an OLED, you can really bring that power consumption down. Just so you know, it's another advantage of it. Anyways, lesson for some reason. You can tell I was a teacher, right? Okay, so moving on. Obviously, the greens are also going to be so vibrant. These things pop off of the screen. Beautiful screen, beautiful colors, nice and crisp, despite the fact that it's 1200p. At this screen size, it's pixel dense. This is lovely. These Yogas, I mean, they just really have nice screens. Yeah, this is really nice. Just so you know, it also does come with X-Rite. So X-Rite is a color calibration. It's already running. Okay, I know. It's a color calibration program from Lenovo. You can come in here and you can change your modes, right? So it's just default right now. You can say, I need to be in the DCI-P3 color space, right? It's depending on your workflow, right? You can say, I need to be in the Adobe RGB color space because I'm doing work that requires Adobe RGB, like photography or that kind of stuff. sRGB, I'm making content for, websites. You typically go into sRGB. It's a little different. The reds become a little bit less muted, or a little bit more muted. Still looks great. But, you're doing this potentially for like online content. Most people do that for sRGB, etc. So we'll just go default, go back to normal. And you can play with it as you go. It's nice that you have this in here. You get the profile info. It'll actually tell you what kind of color space you're getting covered here. It's just great. So X-Rite is good. We can keep that open here if you want to play with it. It's called X-Rite. Really, really nice. Moving on. Okay, so we'll do a little audio test here. 12 a.m. study session, but it's 2 a.m. I'm working late. I've been using this all day. I wanted to use this thing all day, basically, to get an idea of how it's running. So we're not going to need to test, max volume or anything like that. But these Yogas really do have quite good audio. So we'll come in here. So watch your headphones. Let it play. And again, these are up firing here, so they're coming right into my ears, left and right.
Even at 70, it's pretty loud. Yeah, it's 80 dB at 70. Because it's stereo, I mean, they're coming right in your ears. You're typically listening to this at like 30 or even 50, probably max. I mean, it's really good. It's unfortunate because I'm using a gaming laptop right now that doesn't have very good audio, and I like laptops with good audio. It's just such a night and day. Now, this doesn't have as much boom as the 9i Pro, the big boy. The 9i Pro, obviously, it's not the same class. It's a much thicker laptop, much larger laptop, multi-speaker setup. It's just meant to be like that. Despite that, the fact that these are up firing here, it still has good low end being like the bass. Doesn't have as much low end bass as let's say like a MacBook Pro 14-inch. Those can have a ton of low end bass, sometimes too much, to be honest. But it's very filled out there. This is still very respectable. A lot better than, well, better than pretty much every gaming laptop, and a lot better than your standard consumer laptop. It's going to be an elevated step above that. The mid range is quite rich as well, and the high end is also quite rich. Yeah, it's just a huge upgrade from my laptop. Gaming laptop. That's what you get, man. That's what you get. Anyways, it sounds really nice. So, if you're doing creative type tasks on this, video editing, music type stuff, the speakers are going to be really nice and up to the task. It's going to just be enjoyable. The other thing is, if you're just listening to music or watching shows on it, it's a fantastic screen. It's really nice to then also be accompanied by nice speakers here. They're not down firing, so if you're sitting it on your lap, like sitting on a couch or something, it's not going to be muffled. It'll be coming right into your ears. So good audio, good screen, or great audio, great screen. Okay, so this is where I start to do some benchmarky stuff. I've already done all of these because I really was curious about these new Snapdragon chips. I was like how much of an, I mean, Qualcomm is like, these are a big improvement. They've been telling us these are a big improvement over, the previous generation. And I liked the previous generation, but they've really been saying like, we're just making these fantastic now. And I was like, all right, you guys tell us if it's going to be that good. I'm going to test it. So we'll come in here. I want to show you some performance. They claim good performance, but I also want to show you some noise and thermals here. So the performance here is going to be, what does the Snapdragon chip do? But okay, so I've already done the tests. You can spoiler right there. But we're just going to just run this right here so we can test the noise and thermal. At idle, when you're not doing anything, the laptop is completely 100% silent. When it's idle, there's no noise at all. Let's let it run for a minute here. This hardware info, it's a little bit of an older one. It doesn't have the thermals, unfortunately. It's just, I have to use an older one because the newer one got compromised. Look at that temperature though. 40 degrees is nothing. 41, 42 degrees is crazy. They're such efficient chips though. That's the thing. They don't need a lot of power to get to where they need to be. And so as a result, they were going to run nice and cool, nice and quiet. My noise floor is like 34, 35. It's crazy. So this thing, sitting on your lap is like quieter than like someone's gaming laptop on like silent mode, don't touch the computer because the fans will go. That laptop is going to be noisier than this thing when it's under full load. Right? It's very quiet. It's finally getting some temperature up there, 50 degrees. It's a lot of my laptop idles at 50. So, this is how efficient these things are. They're crazy good. So we're going to come in here. I just have a couple screenshots. I ran the whole Cinebench 2026 and look at this, 5,396. I'm not fully comfortable with these numbers yet because I have only just started using this, just so I'm not like, that's percentage above whatever else I did. But here's the thing. This is the Snapdragon X2 Elite with 88. So it's the highest spec. It has 18 cores. There's no hyperthreading, just 18 cores. Very, very nice. And here's the thing. We'll zoom in here. And like, what kind of performance are we getting here, right? It is slower than an M4 Max, but if you know anything about Apple, you know what an M4 Max can do. Those are thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to buy this here. If you're going to buy yourself an M4 Max, like there's
this is the M4, M4 Pro, M4 Max. These are like $5,000 laptops when you're getting into M4 Max. And they're in big, massive, you know, Pro, like for the 14 inch, the 16 inch Pro. Those are much, much thicker laptops. A 16 inch MacBook Pro, you may not realize, is way bigger than this laptop. It is considerably thicker, and it's also going to run hotter, just so you know, than this here. Those nothing power that was being drawn by this laptop here is still going to give us 5,396. So it is slower than an M4, but it's very fast. This is how fast the desktop processor at 285K, which is like upper tier, like truly upper tier desktop level, is going to be around here. And so, yeah, it's slower, but that's crazy fast. So I'm trying to just put this into context for you guys, how fast that is. Like my desktop has a 270K, it doesn't even have a 285K. 285K is faster. That's a disgustingly fast desktop. And this, yeah, it's slower, but this is a tiny little Ultrabook. It's barely even doing anything. Like, it's just like, yeah, just throw out that number, just casually toss out that number. Okay. Now we'll come in here just for another context here. Here's an AMD Ryzen 7 5800X. Again, a few generations old, not the most powerful thing, but that's an 8-core desktop processor, and pretty much like that's quick. That's a quick CPU right there, right? And that's only 3,400. This is much faster, right? Yeah, it's not going to beat a 9950X 3D from AMD, but that's also, you know, a $800 chip, just the chip, and it's a desktop level, and it needs 250 watts. Right, this is using 20 watts, 25 watts, just so you know. Wi-Fi is the fastest I've ever got. I didn't even know my Wi-Fi could do that. And I'm being dead serious. Watch my reviews. Go back and watch my reviews, my recent ones. I'm not in the best spot here, so the uploads suck. But I did not know my download could go that fast. In my office, especially. I didn't even, like, I didn't know I had gigabit internet here. I'm renting this place. So today I learned that my Wi-Fi can go that fast. So very impressive. Included SSD. It's a 2242, but it's nice and quick, right? So a nice little, move that over, a nice little Micron drive there. Let's just go like that. 2242 size, but it's going to give you mid to upper gen 4 speeds. So very nice. Okay, and here's just a quick peek at some battery. This is a real world type scenario that I've kind of emulated here. Going in browsing, heavy browsing, I'd call it. Like I'm actually going through websites, doing research type stuff. So I'm flipping between websites. And at the same time, I have a document open here and I've just been writing in the document. And so this would simulate kind of what you're doing if you're like a student or you're a researcher or something like that. And this is real world work. Full brightness as well. Just, you know, nothing turned down. I don't do that in my test. It's a real world test. And we can see here that the average wattage being burned is 2.6 watts. 2.6 watts. And this is like using the laptop. I'm not just sitting here staring at the screen. I'm using it naturally. How many, like what kind of battery life does that look? Well, 1,500 minutes. 1,500 minutes. Just think about that. 1,500 minutes. That is, so how many minutes do we have in an hour? 60. Right? So let's say you do 10 hours of work here. That's 600 minutes. Let's double that. That's 1,200 minutes. That's 20 hours. Go a little bit higher, right? We're getting 24. This is 2 days of actual straight work. 2 days of actual straight work. So this is the type of laptop where you take it to class or you take it to work, you use it all day. Then you come home. Maybe you dabble with it a little bit at home. And then you go to work the next day and you're like, oh man, I forgot my charger. And it's like, that's okay. I can still work for the entire day. And just, you know, just a constant stress test here. So I just run some YouTube here. And so YouTube, 1080p, 60 YouTube, and you can see here, same idea. It's crazy. And just, you know, just real world. This is where I started to do some really heavy stuff here. So this is going to be the type of laptop, if you need battery for days, like truly battery for days, this is the way to go. We'll come in here. Now, another thing, just, you know, this is like, I know everyone AI, good, bad, whatever. I'm pro AI if it's like local AI. It's fantastic, to be honest. I don't want AI to be in the cloud, big data centers. That's bad. But if you can bring in AI features into a laptop like this and do local AI, you know, this has 80 TOPS on the NPU, so that's very high, I'll put it that way. And you're doing local AI, Windows, Copilot. I know people don't like Copilot, some people, but you can do a lot with Copilot, just so you know, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty fun, actually. I've been messing with it quite a bit. You can do some pretty sweet stuff, and it's local. Like, you're using this NPU on this chip to do that.
this editing program here, what I'm getting at here, has a lot of built-in AI features, right? Like even if you, I'm just going to quickly take a tangent here, go into like Paint. Even Paint has AI stuff, and it's not stupid. It's actually really fun. See that? What did I do here? Watch this. Okay. This is just fun. There's way more advanced things you can do with AI, just so you know, but I just want to play with this one. So you can come in here and we'll put in here, we'll put man in coffee shop with laptop. Okay. Now it's going to want me to try to draw something. So I need to start drawing, and it doesn't know what I want to do yet. So we'll just go like that. We'll just draw our little dude here. It works. Okay. It's just like, we can't do brands. I mean, an eyeball. Okay. I mean, it works, right? That's the thing. So we'll come in here. It just guessed it, right? But let me tell you, maybe like I don't want it like that. So what I actually want is I want like this here. And it's like, no, that's fine, but I don't want like that. I want, that's the meadow. Beep. I don't know if meadow was the right term, but it is right now. Oop. Okay, it's just like, where's the duck go? And I'm like, not ready yet. That's the pond. It added a second duck. Moved the duck over, which makes a lot more sense now. See, it's figuring it out. Got a little grass there. Okay, put a little tree in here. Something like that. It's probably like, what the heck is that? Oh, it figured it out. It added leaves and I haven't even added it yet. See that? So anyway, so you can see what it's doing here, right? It's figuring out, like, it's using the text prompt that I put in here, and then it's adding to that with my drawing. See how it's making it? And then we're going to add my duck. It picked a pretty good spot for the duck, to be honest, but let's, okay. And now it's going to be like, oh, there's the duck. And I'm like, yeah, it's Mr. Duck. It's the duck. See what I mean? So it's just kind of going as we go, right? Another thing you can do here is there's other stuff too, right? We can come in here and you can do just like, that's the co-creator. It's creating while I'm creating. So I'm text prompting and I'm drawing, and it's creating it with me. So it's not just pure AI, it's AI meets person. So I can guide it as I'm going live. And I don't need to know like weird prompts and that kind of stuff. I'm just like, this is what I wanted to do. So moving on, video editing. This program here has a lot of AI type stuff built in as well. You may do local AI type stuff as well. If you do that, having an 80 TOPS iGPU, CPU, APU here is going to be quite good. And you'll notice as I'm going, it's really snappy. This is way snappier than my primary gaming laptop, way snappier, just so you know. That has an AMD 350, which is fine, nothing wrong with that. But it's not as fast as this. It just feels snappier to be using this. This program is also not the most efficient program. It can be it's very CPU dependent. And if you don't have a good CPU, this program will feel a bit laggy. And you can see here, I mean, this is editing very fast, right? Oops. And, we can scrub through here. The audio plays while scrubbing. You can see the audio tracks are fully processed, all of them, right? So it fully processed those audio tracks, and we're able to scrub through, and that's fast. This is way faster than my laptop, just so you know, with an AMD 350. It makes sense. Like exporting as well. I wasn't sure how this would work because, it doesn't have like Intel encoder or NVIDIA NVC encoders and that kind of stuff. An AMD QuickSync or AMD, what's it called? Can't remember. It's Intel's QuickSync. I can't remember what the AMD one's called, but it's just called hardware encoder. I was like, I don't know, maybe it'll be fast, maybe it won't. So I did it. And by the way, this is a 4K 60 video, and I'm exporting this HEVC 4K 60.
5 minutes. Okay, so I exported, I already did it, so I don't need to do it again. Well, it was very fast. So a 5-minute video is a little over 5 minutes. And this is faster than my other iGPUs. Typically, I find if I'm doing export on my program here, iGPUs are, for the way I export it, almost 1-to-1. Not quite, but close. So if I export a 5-minute video, 4K 65-minute video, it ends up being almost 5 minutes to export it. If I export an 8-minute video, it's around 8 minutes. 13-minute video, it's around 13 minutes. 1 hour video, it's around 1 hour. Right? This is faster. So this is, based on my opinion and what I have tested so far, this is the fastest iGPU that I've used to date. For sure. Very fast. Very impressive. It may not look like it to you, but you can do serious video editing. So what's the average YouTube video length? I believe 8 minutes to 13 minutes is the standard right now, in that range. So you do your editing on this nice and fast, and then you export it. Let's say your video is 8 minutes. It takes 8 minutes. That's nothing. And it's not like the system becomes defunct while you're doing it. I was exporting and doing other things. So it probably would be faster if I wasn't doing that, but that's how I use my laptop. I just hit export and then I just start to do some other stuff, usually lighter stuff like browsing while I wait, or I'll just set it down, just go make a coffee and come back. I wouldn't even have been able to make a coffee if I did that. So very fast. For real world work, it's very fast. Okay, let's have a quick look at the webcam here. It seems to be just fine. I don't have the best lighting in here. It's kind of crappy, to be honest. Obviously, it's late at night. Stack of Lenovo's over here, and it's doing just fine. It's, you'd expect to have a pretty good camera on a Yoga, and it's doing a good job. It's actually not overexposing me, or I become like a vampire. I don't like that. This is, a pretty dark room right now with a little bit of light coming from over here, and it's just showing me what it would look like to sit in this room. So this is pretty good. Definitely a good webcam. Here's the funny part. Mac users, I use Mac too, so I'm one of them, have been chasing, like, when is Mac gaming? When is the year of Mac gaming? And it's like, it's never. It's like, you can get these Apple products and they just have like really good iGPU, CPU performance, and it's like, yeah, they can do amazing, but like no game supported. Like you come into Steam and it's like, oh, look at all of like 8 games in my library. It's like, that's nice. Look at that. It runs so fast. It runs so fast, but it doesn't actually support any games, and then you get sadness. This is Windows, so we're running Windows. We're not running Mac OS. So these games are all in here going to be fully compatible with Windows. Okay. Whereas like my library here, which is like thousands of games, like a pittance of them is compatible in Mac OS. Here, we're not worrying about that. Here we're running native Windows. So not every game is going to run the same in terms of drivers, that kind of stuff. Not every game is going to have the same support. But let me just show you how far we've come here in terms of gaming. So we'll load up some Cyberpunk. The reason I'm doing Cyberpunk and not some weak game is Cyberpunk is brutal to run, if you know. There's a reason why Cyberpunk has been a benchmark game for so long. For one, it hits up the GPU really hard. Obviously, it hits up the GPU. It also destroys the CPU. It's a very CPU heavy game. So I like to test Cyberpunk on systems like this where it's like, we're claiming high CPU performance and we're claiming high GPU performance. Well, I'm going to test it. I'm going to show you guys what happens when you slam the CPU and the GPU at the same time. So we're going to jump right into the thick of things, into Dogtown. Dogtown in the Phantom Liberty expansion is a brutal area. One of the most CPU and GPU simultaneously intensive areas of any game that you can test. We'll come in here. I'll show you the settings. It's not, crazy at 4K or anything like that, but we're at 1200p. Fine. We're not going to go with 800p. Let's go 1200p. Fine. We're going to do some scaling on low balance. You could do performance, but we'll just do like that there. And you can see here it's not wonky or anything like that. And look at the performance. Now, again, this game just got released on the Steam Deck. On the Nintendo Switch, sorry. The Nintendo Switch runs this game at 30. Okay? 1080p 30. This is a higher resolution. This is 1200p. Not 1080p. This is higher resolution than that. And look at it. Right? It's an easy above 30 experience here. And again, this is Dogtown. See when we come in here how much it comes up? We're up into 40, 45, and it's much easier to run area over here. Right, I don't have like ultra performance scaling turned on. And then out here where it's like really hard to run, this is some of the most brutal areas in gaming.
out here with all this stuff going on, we're still above 30. This is still giving better performance than Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch is a gaming console. Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 2 is a gaming console with NVIDIA graphics. It has access to DLSS, upscaling, all the fixins and that, and the game runs this game at 30 FPS. Right? So this is running at a higher FPS than the Nintendo Switch 2. And people are praising that. They're like, man, that thing can run this at, 15 watts. How many watts do you think this system is using? Not very many. And it's running perfectly. Notice how there's 0 visual glitches here. There's no visual glitches. There's no frame time issues. There's no frame pacing issues. There's no quirks. It's just 35 in the worst areas and 45 elsewhere. And we could turn up the scaling, right? Like I could go higher. You could say, oh, I want performance. You can also just turn down the resolution. There's all kinds of stuff you can do here. Okay, so now I dropped it down to 1080p instead of 1200p. 1200p is the native aspect ratio of the screen, but I put it down to 1080p just to be like, now you can compare to, like, actually to a Steam Deck or to, I don't know, like a different handheld. And you can see here it's good, right? I don't think at any point it's gone below 30. It has dropped down to about 30, but you're getting 30 to 45 FPS gameplay. This is way more playable. I've tried this game on the I have tried this game on the Switch 2. I have a Switch 2 and I bought this game and I put it on it. I can't play on the Switch 2. It makes me nauseous because it's like the best that you get is 30, right? Here, you're in the worst areas over here, you're at 35, 30, and then you come to the lighter areas and it goes way up, right? It just feels way smoother. Like it just doesn't make me motion sick. When I play this on the Switch 2, yeah, it's impressive that it runs at so few watts, but it makes me motion sick. I'm sorry. It just makes me motion sick. This is just really good performance, right? And this is Cyberpunk. Brutal game. So you can do a lot of gaming on this chip here now because you're running Windows native. And as long as there's drivers and that kind of stuff, but they're coming a long way. ARM has been accelerating rapidly. You went from these essentially not really existing in the Windows space to all of a sudden being here, sticking around, and just improvement, and all of a sudden now it becomes an actual viable chip here. Very impressive. Okay, and here's another game. It's Hogwarts Legacy. We're at low, of course. We're not going to be cranking it up here. And we have some scaling, some FSR, and it runs just fine. Again, not monster performance, 95 FPS, 150 FPS or whatever, but I mean, this is fine, right? 30, that was a 29 drop, 30 is just kind of the low. That's what I'm seeing here. A lot of these games, depending on how you set them and whatever, you're going to be getting kind of as like the lowest around 30, and it's capable of doing a lot more. It seems to be like averaging 45 in a lot of these games around there, and then the lows are, kind of around 30. It'll drop down. Now, this is only going to get better. This is like a brand new chip, just came out. Drivers will get better, especially if Qualcomm try to prioritize game drivers as these become more popular. As these become more popular, people will do more gaming on them, and then it'll be feedback loop. You'll get more gaming support, and that. Now this GPU is very capable of actually doing more than this. It's just the game drivers are not as evolved as some others, and the games themselves aren't going to have as much support for them. But even so, I mean, we're still getting an easy 30. Worst case, like this is a really demanding area, very demanding scene. We're still above 30 as like the lowest. So it's jumping around a little bit here, but generally speaking, you could game on this easily, right? Easily. No one's coming out here and saying, well, the Snapdragon is a big gaming system. They're saying the GPU is quite capable for more professional stuff. Like you could do professional stuff on it, and that's what it's designed for. But you can game obviously on it too. And this is more just proving the fact that it's basically brute forcing its way through, because these are not going to have all of the most advanced drivers and all that kind of stuff, and they'll get better over time. But even so, even with that, you can definitely play games on it too. And it's getting better, right? It's getting better over time, and I hope that Qualcomm introduces more game drivers, because that's one of the things here. If you can get these things that are such efficient chips for professional work, these are professional focused chips, consumer level, if you're going to be doing crazy good battery life, you need all that kind of stuff, and professional type stuff like more creative types. But if you can then also round it out with the gaming side of it, these things could become pretty interesting, to be honest. Like I could picture a handheld or something like that. Conclusions will be straightforward. Negatives. Not much. I mean, it's 2026. Prices are up on things. These still remain to be in competitive, very competitive pricing. So, I mean, things in general are up, and prices are volatile between, different regions, that kind of stuff. But I find this thing to actually be in the competitive price range, which is really nice. So that's actually not a negative. I don't know why I put it in that category. Maybe because there are no negatives. Yeah, I mean, you can get some fingerprints on it, but it's so easy to wipe down that it's not really a negative. You just give it a quick wipe down. I guess that's it. Glossy screen. I guess that's the negative here, right? It's a glossy screen. It's not brutal or anything like that because it's nice and bright. So it does cut through it, but it is a little bit of a glossy screen, right? If you don't like glossy screens, you won't like it. I'm like neutral, I've realized. Glossy screens give you a lot more vibrancy. The colors will pop off, but you do have potential for reflections. Where'd that go? Can't find it. There, you're finding the reflections. So I guess that's that. Neutral, I don't know. 1200p, I prefer the 1800p screen for me, I guess. It's not really neutral. I guess it's neutral for me because I would prefer the 1800p, but you could just also buy the 1800p screen. Now the positives. This will be very straightforward. Let's go over the chassis. Best in class keyboard, period. This is the best keyboard you'll ever use on a laptop. And if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. It's the best keyboard you're going to find on a laptop. Great. Trackpad is incredible. One of the best trackpads you're going to find on a laptop. Not haptic, but for a plunging style, it's fantastic. If you don't agree with me, you're wrong. Chassis is fantastic, incredibly thin. There is no agreeing with me or not agreeing with me. It just is an incredibly thin laptop. It feels very premium to hold. There's no creak on it. There's no groan on it. It's just nice premium all metal chassis. Super, super portable to hold like that. There's no agreeing or disagreeing with me. That's factual information. I love that personally, but that's just factually. It's a very premium feeling chassis. Audio objectively sounds fantastic as well. There are, in the Yoga lineup, you get to the 9i Pro. It's a bigger laptop, much bigger laptop, more speakers. It's going to sound better, more bass, whatever. This still sounds fantastic. Screen is very good, obviously. This is the 1200p model, so 60 hertz refresh, 1200p touchscreen. If you don't want that, you can go for the 1800p model and get 100 to 120 hertz refresh, touch or non-touch. So it's not a negative because there are multiple options and it's a fantastic screen. You get OLED, so you're gonna get absolute blacks. You get the other benefits of OLED in terms of response times. In terms of pixel response times, you're going to get the benefits of it being a reasonably bright screen as well. You get 100% DCI-P3 color space. You get access to X-Rate, so you can play with the different profiles. What more could you want? Get the 1800p, you want that. Get the 1200p if you want that. Get touch, get non-touch, your choice. Camera's good, everything's good. Okay, so that's the chassis. Let's get into the performance. The thermals on this thing are incredible. Despite the fact that it has a very thin little cooling unit here, it runs so quiet. It's such a quiet laptop. Even when I was playing games, it's so quiet because it doesn't need a lot of power to do so. So that, that cooling unit in there is actually pretty overkill because the Snapdragon is so efficient. It's such an efficient chip. It's going to give you multi-day battery, crazy good multi-day battery. And this is Windows, remember. Windows is like, it's not good for battery. Well, a lot of that comes down to the chip. If you get a super efficient chip like you get in here, you are going to get multi-day battery. What am I talking about multi-day battery? Like you go to work, you work for like 6 to 8 hours, you bring your laptop home, you wake up the next day, you go back to work, and you still have 50% battery. So you do another day, right? Probably bring the charger with you, but you don't have to. If you forget your charger, right? You forget your little charger, there's no stress. It's like, oh, man, I got to get on this flight. I got to go to the airport. I got to get on this flight. And, I got to fly across the country. Who needs a charger? Just leave it in your bag. You just got this, you're going to have all day battery. And that's something that, Qualcomm Snapdragon chips have always excelled at. Having crazy best-in-class battery has always been a selling feature for that. They've maintained that. What they have changed is significantly better performance. The CPU is way snappier. It was always fine. I never had any problems with the X1, the Series 1, but it's way snappier this year. It feels like a true, powerful CPU. Like when I'm using it, I use a lot of different systems. This is snappier than my gaming laptop. With the AMD 350, this feels snappier. It just does. It just feels like a snappy CPU. When I'm using it, I can just feel that it has the power behind it. 16 cores, doesn't need any hyper-threading to get there. It's fantastic. It's got a ton of juice to it. The iGPU in here is also very good. In video editing, to date, so far, it's the fastest video export that I've had on an iGPU. Of course, dedicated graphics will be faster, but it's the fastest on an iGPU. Still not going to rival like a 5090 or something like that, but it's very good, honestly. So the GPU performance is there too. AI stuff, I mean, I'm not a big AI guy, but local AI is where it's at, right? Like I'm not like, definitely not into like cloud AI and like big data centers, like screw that. That's like the bane of society, including to Lenovo and Qualcomm and everybody else who's involved. But what's not the bane of society is local AI. That's the opposite. That's what we want. We want you guys to be doing AI on your systems. This has 80 TOPS. It's going to be able to rip through that kind of stuff. Fantastic. All of that is really, really good. Now, even for gaming, I mean, I showed in this video, you can do some serious gaming on it. It just needs some drivers. Like hopefully Qualcomm over time, gets better drivers specifically for games, which they will do. They've already come so far. And then as a result, as these sell more of these laptops, the game support from the devices get better. The games themselves will better support Qualcomm stuff and ARM processors in general. ARM has been around forever. Like they've been around forever, like decades and decades and decades. But they've had this resurgence now where they've come back in the laptop space because they have something to offer. Crazy all-day battery life, great iGPU and CPU performance. These are not sold as gaming laptops. Sorry to tell you, not everything is. You can still game on them, but they are not sold as that. Originally, when the first generation stuff came out, the gamers latched onto it and they're like, it's going to be for gaming. And then people got disappointed. It was like, they never marketed these as gaming laptops, ever. The fact that you can game is just a bonus. Fantastic. So that's great. That is the Lenovo Yoga, I said that word, the Lenovo Yoga Slim 7X, X for the Snapdragon. It's a really nice laptop. The premiumness of it stands out. It's just generally speaking quite nice. And the Snapdragon this year, like last year I was like, it's great. It's still nice and has its niche. This year it's standing out. This is the first one that I've tested. Hopefully we get to test more. Lenovo and other brands can send me over stuff. I'll keep testing them. The Snapdragon stuff, impressed quite a bit. The obvious improvement generation over generation. This is a very short window of time that's passed between the X1 and the X2, and Qualcomm has stepped it up massively. They've always been dominant in the mobile space. They're like phones and tablets, but it looks like they're trying to really do so in the laptop as well. And I'm here for it. Like more competition is better. If you're going to put out a chip that offers this kind of performance and that kind of battery life, that's going to appeal towards a lot of people. So that's the laptop there. If you need a super premium laptop that's incredibly thin, has no compromise, and gives you insane battery life, but is also still very performant, this is the one. This is a fantastic laptop.